Jeff Duncan, columnist for the New Orleans Times-Picayune, covering the Saints. He joins us now. How's it going over there? How's it feel down there today, Jeff?
Well, it's a horrible cloudburst in the area, Dan, which is quite appropriate for what happened yesterday, because fans and New Orleanians are pretty disillusioned, and I think some of them even outraged about what went down yesterday.
But what is the one point that they're trying to make, or that you're trying to make about all of this? If you're going to play to the nation with this, to understand what is really bothering the Saints fans.
I think the Saints fans feel this bounty system is quite prevalent in the NFL, that the Saints are being scapegoated for something that has gone on for decades in the league, and they feel like, for whatever reason, the league is making an example out of them for something that everyone else is doing. What they're, I think, losing track of, Dan, is I think this was as much about the cover-up as it was the crime.
Yep.
And I don't know how anybody can defend the Saints' actions, the management's actions of denying and lying to the NFL commissioner. I mean, I think any of us in our jobs, whatever it would be, if we covered up and lied and denied everything, would expect some harsh punishment. And I think that's as much as anything what happened with these sanctions.
What about the players, anywhere from 22 to 27 involved, some still with the Saints? When are those punishments going to be doled out?
I think it'll happen over the next couple of weeks. The NFLPA wants to weigh in on this matter, of course, involving the players, and that's a critical part of this entire process. What are the Saints facing? I mean, they're already going to be without their head coach and their linebackers coach for 6 games. How many players are going to be suspended? I feel for the new defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, that came in here. He really walked into a mess trying to rebuild this defense in just regular times would be difficult. Now he's faced with maybe multiple sanctions to players. I think this thing could have just a devastating effect on the Saints' season. A lot of people down here felt this team had a chance to make it to the Super Bowl, and, of course, it's in New Orleans this year.
Sean Payton allowed to have any contact with the team?
None whatsoever. Once April 1 gets here, he's got to pretty much be on his own, and there's no way he's going to risk circumventing those rules right now. I think if for any reason he were caught trying to do something like that, he may be banned from the league. I think he's learned his lesson about trying to go around the commissioner.
Can he buy a ticket to the game?
I'm sorry, Dan?
Can he buy a ticket to the game?
Oh, I don't think so. I think he has to stay away completely from the operation. I don't think he can have any contact. But that's a good question. I would like to find that out, but I don't think he would do that.
He's Jeff Duncan. He covers the Saints for the New Orleans Times-Picayune, joining us for the Dan Patrick Show. I'm just not sure what's going to happen with when you look at Greg Williams' role. And I said at the time he should have said, "Hey, blame it all on me." Indefinite suspension. I know he's not with the Saints any longer, but being around Greg Williams, how do you think this affects him as he moves forward? Does he come back from this?
Well, I think he took a step in the right direction toward getting back into the league's good graces by basically falling on the sword, admitting everything, which is clearly opposite of what the Saints organization did. I think that's going to go a long way with the commissioner. And Dan, I think this thing could have been solved a long time ago for the Saints if they would have just come clean back when the initial investigation began back in 2010, right after the Super Bowl season.
Do you think Shockey is the snitch here?
No, I don't. I don't think that's. I think that was an erroneous report, and I don't put any stock in that at all.
Who do you think is?
I don't know who it is. I would hesitate to guess. I don't know necessarily if it was one snitch. It sounds like multiple people were involved in this investigation. At least the league citing multiple sources. So I think there's more than one person, and finding the snitch seems, I don't know, a little out of bounds right now for the extent of what happened here.
This is what I do if I'm the Saints, and I do it this week. I sign Drew Brees to a contract.
Would that be a great move or not? I mean, this team needs
You need him now more than anything, Jeff. He's going to be your assistant head coach. He's going to be a player coach, and you're going to need him now without Sean Payton in there. Get a feel-good story out of this somewhere, somehow, and make sure Drew Brees retires in New Orleans Saints.
I agree 100%. I don't think it's going to happen. But if Tom Benson ever were to step into negotiations, and he never has, Dan, he's always been a hands-off owner, this is the time to step in to Mickey Loomis' office and tell him to get a deal done. They've got to get some positive PR for this team. It's been an entire offseason of discontent and anxiety for the Saints, and this Breeze thing is added to it. And I think most people down here can't understand why it hasn't gotten done by now.
Good stuff, Jeff. As always, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Dan. You take care.
All right, Jeff Duncan, New Orleans Times Picayune.